back of your spice cabinet, you might as well throw them away. Because they're probably stale. Spices get stale. Air, light on ground spices makes them just inactive. They're not going to make you sick, but they'll be inactive. So, anytime I can use spices, I do. So a little bit of clove, a little bit of coriander. I'm making this really, really strong because I'll show you how. I have some allspice berries. A lot of people think that allspice is a mixture of spices because it says all. It's actually a berry that grows on the tree. It's the allspice berry. It's great. Juniper berries would also be good. Star anise, which is licorice-ish. I'm bringing it up.
Let him do his thing.
Y'all want to smell that? Licorice.
I didn't know he didn't add licorice. No. Yeah, the star anise. No, we got a licorice.
Yeah, that's Charity's middle name. Charity's middle name's Anise.
Also, I'm going to put a cinnamon stick or two. Now, these are going to toast differently because they're larger. Some coriander is going to toast quicker than a cinnamon stick. But that's all right. I could toast them separately if I wanted to. Cumin. Awesome. What is that? Cumin.
Wow.
Cumin is awesome.
What was before? That's a lot.
Cinnamon.
A little bit of mustard seed. There's no right or wrong for seasonings of a brine. Alright? The only ingredient that's essential in a brine is salt and water. And what happens is this process is called osmosis. Okay? The salty water, salt is a preservative. And so what that does is when we're going to submerge our pork in there, it's going to extract all the moisture, all the liquid from the pork, like the salt. And then, once it extracts that, the moisture content of the pork is going to be less than that on the outside. So it's forced back in, bringing with it all of these seasonings. So it is the only scientific, truly proven way to add moisture and flavor to a whole muscle meat. So like a turkey, all these injectors, vacuum marinators, they're all a waste of money. You can brine something and get moisture and flavor better than you can anything else. You guys watch Alton Brown, Good Eats?
Oh yeah.
Really good. At Thanksgiving time, he has a whole show on how to brine a turkey.
Yeah, I see.
And he has that little woman, I love her. She's like the mad scientist. She's the little short, elfy looking woman. And she does a whole diagram of this osmosis. Are you watching?
I'm watching.
It's like a seasoning. This is salt. Okay, this is not a seasoning. This is a brine. It has to be salty. It has to be salty. Because the salt is what makes the brine. Otherwise you don't have a brine.
My mother would put it down.
I know, my mother did. She was like...
She does. She does. Yeah.
Okay, so when you start to smoke, you take it off and you start to toss it around so that you cool off the bottom of your skillet and you don't burn the spices. Burned spices are horrendous. It's like burned sugar, burned bacon, whatever. But you can definitely smell all of these spices together. So I'm going to pour these in here. And I have the salt in there, right? Check on my cabbage.
That smells good.
Next thing, to kind of combat the saltiness, I'm going to add some sugar. So I got a little brown sugar in here.
Does it have to be brown?
Doesn't have to be brown. You can use white, you can use honey, you can use molasses, you can use whatever. I have a little bit of maple syrup. Just because I have it. I mean, sometimes I do, sometimes I don't.
I can get price too.
So I'm going to add a little maple syrup.
Excuse me.
That's good maple syrup. Better use it on my waffle pancakes.
So I'm going to stir this up. I'm also going to add, you could add some onion pieces, citrus zest, whatever. I like just a little bit. So a little bit of red pepper.
So on my brine, all those spices you use, I pretty much can go in my own direction on my own brine. I still have all my spices I had in my other container.
Me too.
I have.
Huh.
I always pour away.
Oh, that smells so good.
Okay. So this is not a marinade. What makes this different from a marinade?
No acid.
No acid and no... What else is the key component in marinade? Oil. There's no oil, there's no acid. Okay, but you smell all this fragrant stuff going on. It's beautiful.
That's just...
And our pork,
Just take it in.
I'm not even going to describe it. I'm not even going to describe it.
I think I should ask him about one more else.
So here is our pork.
John, this is going on YouTube.
A reference.
Don't put me talking.
Okay, that's going on YouTube.
Okay, so this is our pork loin. Whenever you buy pork loin, never buy the pre-marinated pork loin.
Oh, yeah.
Those are gross.
And
The pre-marinated.
we're going to talk about why that is scientifically, but what happens is that it starts it starts to denature the protein, and it starts to, when you cook it, it has this spongy texture, which is not good. So always, why wouldn't you marinate on your own? Doesn't matter what you use, whatever you got. Use whatever you got. You saw me. Somebody brought me herbs this morning too. I just threw that bad boy in there. And just, onion, citrus, whatever we have, we could put in there. All right, so this fat part right here, I'm not going to actually cut off of here because I want that pork fat on here because that is going to give us a really good golden brown sear. Right? So I'm going to cut this into 3 pieces, and I'm going to cut that one into 3 pieces. This one is actually folded over, so it's the same size as this. It just looks different. And when you're cutting whole meat like this, rather than do like this, right? Because this is going to give you feather cuts, is what I call it. See all those, those feather cuts right there? So you want to do 1 stroke. And if you don't get all the way down, which I didn't, then you find where you were, and you do 1 more stroke. You get a nice clean pork slice. See that beautiful? And I'm going to show you tomorrow how to truss this up so that it stays nice and round, which is what you want it to give you a better presentation. So notice that it's completely submerged. It's not coated, it is soaking in there. When we used to do corned beef, we would